The Jets have been officially eliminated from playoff contention after a disappointing season, which also saw a coaching change in the peg. Captain Blake Wheeler met with the media today. Had some interesting things to say.
It's the best part of the year to be a hockey player, except for if you're in our shoes, and it's the worst. Be careful of what the word expectations mean. You know, like there have been years in the past where the expectations were really low and we had really good teams, and we're competing for championships. And this year seemed like expectations were high, and we've obviously fallen well short of those. I hate what's going on right now. I hate losing. I think that's not just me. I think we have a lot of guys that don't like losing and don't like the results we're getting. My job to build the culture here, and I've taken a lot of pride in that over the years, and so I certainly look in the mirror on that one and kind of where we've gotten to and the team that we were and the team that we are now, and I don't hide from that at all. I certainly take the responsibility for where this team sits.
Justin Bourne is going to join us right now, as a matter of fact, so why don't we bring him on the NHL Sportsnet studios. It's still over there. Bourne, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I am well. Can we start there? Did that sound to you, and maybe it was just me, but did that sound to you like a man that knew that they had been close for the last little while, but that might be ending soon?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm always wary of anyone who tells you about themselves and what they're like, and Wheeler saying, I don't run from any of this is like, well, I don't know, do you need to tell us that? Like, just go ahead and do it, set the culture. You're right, though, there were vibes of a guy who has been a part of something that hasn't quite worked out, has the experiment run its course in Winnipeg. I think it's a fair question to ask. I think there's a lot of frustration with the fan base and with the players there. Lots of talent. They can't get over the hump. I don't know, maybe Paul Maurice knew something we didn't earlier in the season when he said, I think I've got all I can out of these guys.
That's the part that just sticks with me is Paul Maurice. Like, listen, he's coached a lot of hockey. I understand it, and he kind of went from playing career right into coaching career, worked his way up really quickly. I get all of the other parts, but had he thought that he had a Stanley Cup champion on the bench, maybe he would have stuck around. Like, this is the part where I think Kevin Cheveldayoff has some real hard thinking to do this offseason.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, listen, that was the first time that I saw the Blake Wheeler clip, like the rest of you, most of you. And to me, it felt like a guy who might know that there's change coming.
Yeah, it's really hard for Cheveldayoff is those contracts are really tough to do much with. Wheeler's in particular, who they didn't get enough juice out of the dollars that they're paying him. I don't know how you move on from that. And I think you've seen with teams who move on in a big way from core guys, it starts, again, at that core. And they tend to have more success when you make sweeping changes, give the room to someone else. He said he's tried to set the culture there for years. Maybe it hasn't worked. I know he's a tough contract to move, but certainly that is, at the heart of what Cheveldayoff will have to decide this summer is, do the guys who exist at the center of our salary cap picture represent the team that we want at the center of our, of our plans going forward?
I feel like as a national show, we talk about all Canadian teams, but outside of Vancouver and maybe Edmonton seeding, is it like, let's just get to the playoffs already?
Yeah, oh man, it's dragging on. Like, they tacked on the 3 months for the Olympic break and COVID delays. And I don't know, there's something about it that's so much harder because watching the NBA get started into what they're doing, the weather's turning. I know, Nick Kyprios and Sam McKee, my real Kipper and Bourne buddies, they're on the golf course right now because it's nice out. So I think there's a lot of people who are just like, okay, let's get her going. I know the Eastern Conference in particular, it's been set for so long that it really does feel like it's dragging. I think when the NHL set their schedule going into this year, I don't know if they looked at the Leafs in the East, but they set up a lot of games between the likely good teams at the end of the season, and then this is going to make for great drama when really, it's also sort of set in stone that it's not dramatic. It's like, which team can emerge tonight the healthiest? That's what everyone wants to know. Not exactly the fireworks a lot I think the league would have been hoping for. Yeah,
like how much message sending can you send in games 76 and 77 when the standings are set?
And how much does home ice advantage matter? Not none. It matters for sure. But, is it enough to say that you want to play Austin Matthews or when he's not quite ready? Obviously, no. Is it enough to say you want to see Mitch Marner play 24 minutes tonight? Definitely not. So when you have two teams who are not pushing to be their best in a game, I think it shows you where they consider the value of that home ice. It just hasn't quite shook out the way the league saw it in their mind.
Is there some games here with Matthews not going? Like, the only thing I thought of, like, listen, if he's close. Did you watch the morning skate? He's close. Like, the only thing I thought of here was the Leafs don't dress him. They beat the Lightning the last time they were there. Austin Matthews had the 3 goals. Andre Vasilevsky's chased. Are maybe some games being played here? We beat them without Matthews. We beat them with Matthews. And if they lose, it didn't mean anything. We didn't even play Matthews.
Well, there is something to that. I think you saw Calgary go into Colorado a couple of times this year and say, you get Vladar. We're not going to throw you Markstrom. Like, it's not that kind of game for us. And there could be an element of that. I think more than anything with Matthews, it's just, you just need to make sure he's the best player he can be at the start of the playoffs. I also thought, and we talked about this quite a bit on our show too, is like, how do you rest Matthews without telling Matthews that you want to rest him? Because it's all that matters is that top line be as good as we know they can be in the first round.
When it matters.
I'm happy to see him get a little bit of rest. Even if he's 99% healthy, I understand why they're trying to put him in a position to get a few games before the end of the season, but also let those legs rest up and be the best he can be coming up.
What have you made of Jack Campbell since his return?
I'm starting to see some things that make me hopeful. There were some, what it is that kind of made me hopeful, and this is, maybe I'm reading way too much into this. When he's really confident, he's that over-gregarious guy that's tapping his D-men on the pads after every play, and, great play. He's talking to his guys. You're seeing him hang on to pucks, get whistles when they hit him, and give the D credit again. He's talking again. There's a little bit of, I don't know, whatever his mojo, whatever you want to call it, he seems to have that the last couple of games. That's a positive thing, knowing how good he can be when he feels like he's at his best. I know the games haven't been overly challenging. The opponents haven't been exactly top of the deck, but hey, it's put him in a position to succeed. He's going to be the guy. He knows he's the starter. He's had a couple of good games now. If you're the Leafs, things are trending in the right direction heading towards playoffs.
All right, before I let you go, I want to bring something up. Listen, most of the time I think Twitter is hot mud garbage, but there are times when Twitter can be entertaining, Twitter can be insightful. And last night I saw something on Twitter that I don't think I've ever seen before. Did you see Alexander Ovechkin wave off a penalty last night? Did that actually happen?
You know where I saw it? I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
So interesting there. I don't know. These guys have a lot to say. Once you get up there in the league and you've got a whole lot of, Is he saying, no, that's not a penalty?
And the referee said, no, that's not a, like, they blew the play down. Yeah. And then Ovi was like, nah. And the referee gave the nah too.
You know what, though? That's not real cachet. Real cachet is Mark Giordano getting a penalty in his first game with the Leafs, then talking his way out of the penalty box. That actually happened. That's the first time I've seen a guy get a call and then convince the refs he didn't deserve it. So Ovi calling one off for the opponent, maybe unnecessary. Not really sure why he would do that, but seeing Giordano do it, I'll give Gio the credit there.
Yeah, but if you're like in LA or maybe even Vancouver, you're like, what the hell's going on here? You can't wave off penalties.
Maybe he hates LA and Vancouver. We don't know what his motives are. I'm sure he's got something cooking up there.
50 again for Ovi. Like, it's just, I remember bringing up to him at NHL Media Day about the chase for Gretzky, and his eyes lit up. But never did I think that he was going to be doing, at this age, what he's doing. Like, it's remarkable.
You know who he is at this point to me? He's R.A. Dickey. I can't figure out why no one can hit. Like, that's just a slap shot on the ice, but because it's Ovi, it goes in. The guy is mind-boggling. There's got to be something about that release.
That's a good point.
It is. There's so many pucks
That's
he
like
shoots.
Guy Lafleur in 1979 coming down the wing. You're like, how does Shutt and Lafleur score from there?
I know, and the commentators are like, ooh, right off the inside of the post. No, the goalie had no chance on that one. But I don't know. He's got that knack. He's special. It's all skill. It clearly is important to him, and it seems like a singular focus. He's got a Stanley Cup. This almost seems like priority 1A for him at this point.
They're emailing me telling me that you got to go, so I'm going to let you go. I don't know if you heard the ba-dum, but that's what happened. Bourne, it's always entertaining when you're on the fire alarm. I get emails. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Well, hey, I appreciate you having me on.